security beyond simply operating the device. And so we have that two levels of protection. Of course, prevention also includes software that we buy for detecting viruses and other things and other forms of malware, because the malware comes with certain patterns of inquiry that intruders have to use to get through the software of your system, and that's why McAfee and others have a detection of the fact that your device is being attacked, because it knows that only certain patterns of inquiry can probe a flaw or a fault line in getting into your device. So we have malware or anti-malware control. There is firewalls the textbook talks about, where you have a border server that takes all the data that wants to come into the organization and send an email to an individual. That has to be screened before it can be allowed in. You can't directly come in, so there is a wall of screening of emails. There's also a wall of screening outgoing transmissions to see whether they have confidential or private information enclosed, so it doesn't get out of the organization. And then there is, of course, the area of encryption, which is a whole other ballgame. Everything is basically encrypted or put into a different form of communication by some key. And there are now standard devices for doing that. Prevention also is locks, physical locks, devices limiting entry to buildings, where the computers are, and terminals that have access to only certain portions of the database. My wife worked for a hospital at one time. What's a hospital? Well, does it have 8 to 5 operating time? No. Hospitals are open 24 hours a day. So people come in and go out. She used to work a graveyard shift in the evening, or not the swing shift, but graveyard way late at night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. People wandering through the hallways of the hospital. Time this was originally occurring back in the 1990s, maybe the late 1980s. People just came in and walked into the central computing room, because in those days there weren't all personal computers and terminals. There was only one central processor linked to a bunch of terminals. And they simply came in, found a room that had a terminal, sat down at the terminal, looked up their name in the directory of patients, found their balance of the amount of money owed, wrote down that it had been paid, closed the terminal and the account, and that's how they paid their bill. And walked out. Nobody knew who it was, so they did a end of month trial balance, and it didn't balance, so they didn't know whose account it was at first that had paid their own bill by simply sitting down and a few keystrokes, and I'm done with the accounting. You need a physical lock on entry, and now we have